This woman is amazing. She is tremendous. I have been doing this work for 35 years, and she is like my top person that I would sit and listen to. Christine Day.
How amazing it is to be here. And as usual, there's this emotion and joy that comes through me just to be here with all of you. I always seem to come here just before I'm launched into Brazil for 2 months of work. So it's a great gift to be here at this time and to be here to share, actually. There's a lot of sharing to be done today here. I have been graced with some really beautiful and pure energies this morning coming through since I woke this morning. And a lot of it is that Christed energy that has opened up on our planet in the last week. And I'll talk more about that, but it's the energy of the Christ which carries the self-resurrection energy for all of us to unfold into, for all of us to reinvent ourselves at this time on the earth plane as part of the fulfillment of our mission, of what you've said yes to becoming. And as a group, we can join in this and bring an aspect of a very unique divine love that we are in reality, to anchor it here on this earth plane and to really fulfill a promise to ourselves of coming home. So it's with, really a gift for me to be here, to bring that frequency today and to talk about some really important aspects of what we need to be doing at this time in our lives, in our evolution, in our own self-resurrection process, to enable ourselves to make this transition within us, the transition home, and how we can move towards that in each moment of our lives through a really a firm, an unending promise to ourselves of beginning to live intentionally on a very different level. And that's on a moment-by-moment basis. It's not like just trying to change everything all at once, because that's what the ego mind wants to do. Okay, I'm never going to do this again. I'm only going to do this. And pretty soon, guess what? We fail. Because we are human, each one of us. Yes, we have our spiritual aspects, but we are human. And in that humanness, we're perfectly imperfect. So that we need to make a space for ourselves, a space of self-acceptance in our daily lives for that humanness, for the beauty of our humanity, of our vulnerability, of the idiosyncrasies that we are. And at the same time, bring in a new intention into our daily lives that will create a framework, a structure in which we can depend upon slowly birthing and aligning back to an aspect of who we are on the spiritual being that we are. So first I want to talk about what's happening on the earth plane and what's happened in the last week on this earth plane. Now there was a dimensional split that took place at the time of the summer solstice. And that split created an opening, an incredible, stable opportunity for all of us to begin to accelerate the ability for us to awaken and realign to the higher dimensional aspects of ourselves. That took place. And it was a huge happening for this earth plane. Many of you may have experienced all of a sudden how you're suddenly able to align more completely, be less in the third dimensional drama, somehow have a new sense of peace within you, or maybe not get so tied up in the drama, that third dimensional illusion, as you would have in the past. Maybe you just somehow feel different. Well, a week ago, that dimensional split opened further. And when that took place, when that further opening happened, there was a Christed energy that entered our earth plane. Now, this Christed energy carries the frequency of self-resurrection, because the Christ energy has brought the message of resurrection, the resurrection of ourselves in this lifetime. And that falls into the category of self-acceptance, self-love, allowing ourselves to receive. It brings in the energy of receivership, that we can start aligning to a level of receivership for ourselves. It carries the frequency to enable each one of us to move more into that living intention and beginning to birth back into that framework of our spiritual selves on a whole different level. It holds that for us to allow us to much more easily come into that state. And the truth of the matter is, for us to move into our enlightenment process and daily intentions of just coming back home to that aspect of ourselves, everything is based on an alignment to self-acceptance. Being willing to come back and love this human part of ourselves and come into a state of that self-acceptance for the journeys we've taken up to this point in time, for our creation of what we have created around us in our lives right now, and accepting that which we have created for our own unfolding, for our own experience. This is part of coming back to a level of living with intention in the moment, and it comes to accepting the moment as we have designed it so magnificently for ourselves, for our experiences. This new frequency, this new energy, this Christed energy that is here now, is to support each one of us in moving much more quickly, more deeply into self-acceptance for all that we are, for all that we have done, to allow a new level of that self-love to come forward so that we can be more completely in the moment and align to our own aspect of that Christ consciousness. Now is the time for each one of us to step forward. This is the new intention that we're being asked to open up to on a different level, is to come into the moment of each day and accept what is in front of us. The teaching that we have brought to ourselves in the moment for our unfolding, so that we understand our human vulnerability just a little bit more. It's about like opening to like a flower to the sun, really. It's about bringing your awareness to the aspect of your day that's right there, not what may happen or has happened, but what is here, and accepting what is in front of you. And then just being willing to bring your awareness into the feelings that are brought up within you as you align to what that creation is, what you have put forward for yourself, the gift, and unwrap the gift. It's like being given a gift of the day and wanting something different. Instead of seeing what is in front of you and taking the wrappings off, actually unwrapping it with your awareness, with your breath, feeling the feelings of the moment, and allowing yourself to absorb what's in front of you so that you can start unraveling that gift and coming into a liberation within yourself through the gift that's presented to you in the moment, no matter what it is. And it might be shock, horror, the worst possible scenario, the thing you're most afraid of coming true right in front of you. And so you, like a wave on an ocean, I mean, life is like a series of waves on the oceans. There's tsunamis, there's large waves, there's ripples. So instead of running from the wave and letting it just crash on top of you, you can choose to dive under the wave, walk towards the wave, and allow it to pick you up and just bring you back down gently as you feel and explore the experience that's right there in front of you. And as I said, it might be a ripple, it might be a huge tsunami. But as you open your awareness and walk towards whatever is in front of you in the moment in your day, and meet it with that conscious intention, this is my creation, and it's here for me to evolve, to know something more about who I am, to mirror what is already inside of me. That's self-empowerment. And when you meet something in the moment like that, you not only align with that moment and that experience, you open, like a flower to the sun, to that higher realm consciousness of yourself. And you're being supported and held by that sacred light of yourself, that Christ energy, that you are an aspect. And then together, that sacred part of yourself and your human part have the experience, and you have the sacred part holding that human part during the experience, so that the intensity and the fear and the struggle that's activated by whatever's coming at you in your life is somehow neutralized, because you get to say yes to your creation. You get to be empowered in that experience, and you get to understand that human vulnerability within you on a whole different level. And with the Christed energy here, we are able to go through a self-resurrection process much more quickly to accelerate this awakening, our enlightenment process, through a conscious intention of knowing that is who is with you, that you are not alone, aligning to the moment and feeling that higher self, part of yourself with you. And when you align into that moment, when you don't run away, when you don't get frightened and run and move into a separated state where the ego mind starts to build this mountain of fear within you so that you can't even think straight. And then you are totally cut off from any aspect of your own light, any support. That support from yourself and the higher realms is always present. We are the separating factor. It is us that separate from that light, from that consciousness. And it's done through running through fear, through that spiraling out of control ego mind. So part of the intention of the day, to begin your day, is just simply to hold the heart space here and feel yourself aligning now to that incredible flow that has come onto the planet in the last week that will align you to your heart, to that aspect of your higher nature, aligning consciously to your day and all the creation that you have in your life, and start owning your creation, breathing it, feeling that. Okay, today, it's a bit scary, I've got this. You know, maybe there's a bad situation going on in your relationship, in your work. May feel like everything's falling down on top of you. Hold your heart. Open your awareness into the fullness of the energy of whatever it is and breathe. And start opening up, walking towards that wave of your own creation. It's accepting the fact you've created it for a reason. And then it's saying, yes, with intention, I'm willing to open to the fullness of all the different aspects that situation feels like it's bringing. It's not about pushing away the fear. It's about allowing yourself to be immersed in the fear and breathing it through to the other side, to the truth. And that is a liberating thing. It's like you release the burdens, the intensity, the fear that's holding you in a certain ego-mind kind of grip. And you'll pretty much, when you align to the heart, suddenly feel like there's nothing left. The fear is nothing but a feeling. And the situation itself, when the fear lifts, there's always a very simple next step to take. And it's just one small step at a time of doing something differently and breathing that intention of owning your creation, of being with your heart, of feeling you and that human part that has those pockets of fear in. That's okay. The fear's okay. It's only a feeling. Or the anger, or the struggle, or the guilt, or the shame. Because when we feel guilt and shame, guess what? You send a whole lot of things that bring that feeling up inside of you over and over again for you to deal with it so it can leave the body. But instead, you cringe and you go deeper into that guilt and shame. But you can utilize the events that are in your life to assist you in liberating yourself, moving yourself off that cross and self-resurrecting. And this is the time to start really being very conscious how you live and how you set your intentions, not for weeks. That's ridiculous. The ego mind will want to do it for a month, a year. You know, it has all this, no. Moment by moment by moment. And when you come into that moment and breathe, just that conscious breath, and that just starts to lift off the illusion and allows you to come and meet yourself in the moment. And as you do, you move out of a separated state and naturally begin to align to that sacred part of yourself, to the support from the universe, and you get to start to have a direct experience in the moment. And ideas and solutions come in that you would never have been able to consider from the ego mind. Like the ego mind always tries to work things out, but it can't work anything out because it's fear-based. It's guilt, shame-based. So as you just choose, and it's about a discipline, yes, it's about coming into a new level of discipline inside yourself, but discipline is part of self-love. It's part of liberating yourself to gently, not roughly, bring yourself back and say, okay, we're coming back into the moment right now, and let's breathe. And as you do, you'll feel the peace and the truth in front of you. And you'll be able to see the illusion of the problem. And once that illusion has lifted, behind that is just a clarity of understanding about yourself. And if you use that conscious breath, then you can start to understand another level of your human vulnerability, those idiosyncrasies that we all have. And you start to have a love and compassion naturally develop with that human part. And that human part feels the support of that love from that higher level of yourself. This is the time for us to start anchoring these intentions for ourselves and starting the day with just anchoring those intentions, engaging the higher self to be with you during the day. And I know all of us have a few difficult situations in our lives, things we would like to change that we have created. And you have to accept your own creation. You're a powerful being, and you have created what you need to experience at this time to clear a lot of the old density so you can move much more completely on your path and fulfill this mission. So it's about accepting your creation, embracing it. Don't be afraid of what you're going to find inside yourself. Many of us are afraid if we go in deeply and meet these parts of ourselves that somehow that part will take us over. But that's not a truth. The fact is, if we bring our awareness into those feelings of fear or shame or guilt and use the conscious breath and begin to really meet that wave within ourselves of those deep feelings, of whatever situation is there, you'll see it all start to dissolve because there's no reality base to it. And as you clear through yourself with that intention, then your life can change, because the moment you have utilized and cleared the feeling that's created that situation, the situation leaves. It's no longer necessary. And then you can go about opening up to the energy naturally of that receivership energy of the Christed energy that's here, that we can align to and begin to align to our way of being able to manifest what it is our heart's desire is, of what is in our hearts that we want for ourselves. And as you clear the way and touch your heart and feel inside with intention what it is you want, you align to that natural abundance that is part of your spiritual heritage. And you can begin then with intention to start anchoring like a hologram, just anchoring in full detail everything you would like to see for yourself at this time. Not knowing, not needing to know how that's going to happen. Just simply anchoring it in full detail and using the conscious breath and just breathing into it. And feel how that creates a deep joy inside of you. The Pleiadians say, choose what brings you joy. Go towards that which brings you joy. So if you find that you're doing things that are joyless in your life, that it's like a drudgery, and everything around you just feels heavy and joyless, start to look at your creation, let yourself go into the feelings associated with that creation, and then allow yourself to start anchoring your heart's desire and feel how the joy naturally begins to build within you. And your ego mind will say, well, you're just imagining. Well, that is how we create, through anchoring all the details, all the colors, the textures of what it is that we want in our heart's desire. Let it build. Why stop something that brings the joy? And then revisit that creation and add to it and feel the excitement and the joy building in your heart. This is where we can change the way we're living now in that third dimensional struggle and being stuck in places and feeling like we can't get out, we can't escape. It's like we're locked in and there's no way out. That's one of the biggest illusions. You know, I have responsibility, I'm locked here, I'm locked there, there's no way I can move out of here. And the ego mind will give you that message. But if you take the moments to align through the heart, that is where the intuition and the guidance is to slowly but surely maneuver you out from where you are in that trapped situation like a prisoner. And that's part of that third dimensional illusion that we've been living for lifetimes. But with the Christed energy that is birthing now on the earth plane and is building as we speak. There's another big opening on the 5th of August of this Christed consciousness that's here to support us in our liberation. But again, you have to, with conscious intention, move towards that which you are a part of that light consciousness, that God consciousness. And allow yourself to align to that consciousness and allow that resurrection energy within the Christed energy to support you in your evolution. Because you are part of this evolution, we all are. And as you kind of disentangle yourself from that illusion, and I know many of us have, but there's another step to be taken here. Through that intention of aligning to that Christed energy, that resurrection energy, that manifesting energy, where you become alive on a new level. That is what's here for us to start ingesting, absorbing, being. And it's all, of course, through the heart space. This is our home space. So that ego mind needs to be disciplined and loved, not pushed away like a small child, because it has served its purpose and we are human and we do need our egos. But there needs to be a shifting of power here, that the ego mind assists us organizing our lives, and our heart is where we connect to for the truth and for our own liberation. Where we come back to a place of self-forgiveness. And when I say self-forgiveness, it's more self-reconciliation, because I don't really believe in the word forgiveness. I think it's moving through any remnants you might be holding about the past, but truly understanding there is a truth here that every experience you've had has been perfect. Every decision you've ever made has been perfect for you to have the series of experiences that you needed. And everybody else has played their own roles and received their experiences. It's not about saving anybody else, but coming back to sourcing within yourself the home space. That self-acceptance of the courage it has taken for you to have lived this life up to this point in time. That you come back into a state of full receivership first to yourself. It has to be here. So this is where this beginning steps, it's all about us and always has been about here, the home space and ourselves. And that self-liberation of self-acceptance, acceptance of exactly who you are and what you have created that's right in front of you right now in this moment of time. And what you choose to do with that moment is yours. It's through conscious choice you either align to the moment or you run from the moment. And the wave comes crashing down on you. And then guess what? You create another moment exactly the same to try and change the situation, and it can crash down on you again. Or you can walk out to meet the wave with your arms wide open and your heart open. Not afraid to feel the depth of what's inside of you as you're a human being in those feelings. Not making any feeling wrong. It's just a moment's experience. And as you meet yourself and accept those feelings and use that conscious breath, those old feelings can just lift off you because of the Christed energy that's here. It actually allows you to have these energies, these old pieces, to be lifted off and releasing right now. That's the energy that's here for each one of us. All we have to do is say yes. Enough of that suffering of the hard, struggling road. And we have so many old messages from the past that we have inherited and taken on. We've taken them on. It's just us, and us. You know, it's like no one's done anything to us. We have made choices. We have decided to take certain things on. We have decided to embrace these illusions. And we can release them just through consciously choosing to do so. And I love that there's just me here. I'm not dependent on someone else and their attitude or thoughts. It's me with me, birthing myself, liberating myself each moment of time. And that is my intention in the day, is meeting me and meeting what's in front of me, maybe the more difficult things that my human self is afraid of, but I meet them nonetheless because I've learned over time the feeling, the beautiful feeling when I walk towards that wave of my feelings, of the situation, and I don't know what the outcome is, but I do know that I'm okay. Because no matter what comes, everything comes and moves away. And I get to evolve through that rhythm of my own creation and reinvent my own heart's desire as I unfold and liberate myself, as I step in to this state of receivership. And that means feeling good enough about myself to open to fully receive what's in front of me, not sabotaging myself so that I break down situations so I don't fully receive. There are barriers that we are holding on to that have kept us in cycles from not receiving, feelings that we don't deserve, that we're not good enough, that we're not lovable. So now is the time to understand and start channeling in that energy, that Christ consciousness. And the Pleiadians say that this Christ consciousness energy, that Christed energy, is to be found in the reflections of the sun. That the sun is carrying that frequency of this Christed energy. And we know, well, just guess what? You know, sometimes a ray of light just comes through my window in the house. And all I need to do is touch my awareness to that light, to open into a state of receivership and claim that reflection. And take a conscious breath as I bring my awareness to the light and let go. And I start to feel that energy, that resurrection energy, enter me. It's like I'm feeding myself this new frequency that's held within the reflected light of the sun. Or I'm sitting by the water and there's reflected light on the surface of the water. I just touch my awareness to that surface where that light is, and take a breath and let go. And you can feel the essence of the energy starting to come into the cells of the body. And that is what we're being asked to do, to consciously choose in one moment, even if you do 1 moment a day, that Christed energy supports you in releasing the old belief systems, the old patterns, the disbelief of yourself in your sacred part of all that you are. And start returning and realigning back to that source of who you are. And it anchors through the cells of the body. There's a self-healing, rejuvenating energy that's coming from this reflected light from the sun right now to support us in our moment-by-moment birthing. And yes, then you'll hear the mind have a comment, a negating comment, because it always negates anything it does not understand. And the ego mind understands nothing but the third dimensional illusion. It's okay for the ego mind to have its comments, but you don't have to listen or answer the ego mind. It always demands answers to its questions. And you can just say, you know what, I'm not answering that question right now. I'm coming right here to my heart, and I'm going to breathe and receive this light. I'm going to breathe and receive my resurrection energy from that Christed light. And each time you do that, you're going to build this frequency of yourself, and the reconnections will be made to that sacred part of yourself. Let's just take one breath. And as you're taking in that light, that reflected light, you can open up to the most troubling aspect in your life, maybe the most hardest thing that feels impossible to you. And hold that in your consciousness as you open into the reflected light. And then just bring it in. And that light will start to dissolve a lot of the illusion and the tightness around whatever is there. It will actually start lifting off some of those tight, forged illusions that give you a sense of hopelessness, or that things are just not possible, where there's a lack of joy, a flow of joy, and maybe there's no joy in your life. It's possible, because that third dimensional illusion is also intense right now. It's like there's this opening of light and an intensification of the human drum. It's all happening at the same time. So it does mean that you need to be willing to suspend judgment on what your ego mind is telling you. To be willing to move the energy from here down to your heart, and be willing to open to that reflected light and allow yourself to be realigned to that sacred truth and supported by this Christed consciousness that's here. It's about really living in the moment, breathing each moment, and also knowing that you're going to have moments of separation, because we're having a human experience. But those moments of separation don't have to stop you. Like the ego mind will say, see, you can't do this. You have one lapse, one day where you don't think about it. So everything is lost. That's what the ego mind would like you to believe. But the fact is, this is an accumulative experience of initiation. You're in initiation of your own light. And the sunlight will be there tomorrow. And the sunrise will be there tomorrow to greet us with that frequency to support us in this amazing transitional time. So you take a breath and you hold that human part that wants to try and really give you a hard time for not doing it perfectly, and say, it's okay. The sun will rise again tomorrow. And just come into your heart and just breathe and move out of the separation. You move into separation, and that's intense. Sometimes we need more struggle, more hardship. But then as easily we flow back to the heart and move back into that state of reunion with ourselves. This is where all the attention needs to be at this time, with the energies here to support us in our unfolding, in our own self-resurrection, with the beautiful light that is here, that is reflecting, those reflections of light. Yes, they carry that Christed energy, that self-resurrection energy, but they also carry the sacred aspects of your reflections of your own light. So it's you aligning with you and engaging with your frequency of light from the sun's rays. And it's about just saying yes and opening, and take a breath, and yes and opening, so that you begin to evolve and flower in your own sacred nature. The intentions and the integrity within you is essential right now, and that integrity is about the integrity with your own self, not anybody else. Of feeling what is right for you, what brings you joy. That is living in integrity with yourself. Right action with yourself. And we're being asked to align to that integrity, to that flow of integrity that will bring us back into an alignment to natural joy. Not just momentary highs. That's not what we're after. We're after a sacred joy, a subtle joy running through us. Not highs, not lows, but a stable, natural state of joy. And that comes through discipline and right action with ourselves. Not selling ourselves out to please someone else. No. To speaking a truth which takes courage, but liberates moment by moment, as we can. Not causing stress of, oh gosh, I can't tell the truth right now, I'm too afraid. Then breathe and know you can't tell the truth right now. Be authentic with yourself. That's being truthful to yourself. I'm too afraid to tell this person what I think. And that's just how I am right now, and I'm going to breathe into that truth. That's integrity. Not forcing yourself and feeling so afraid and creating an event that just creates a lot of fear inside of yourself. So it's about stepping as you can through your path in your day, moment by moment, in that integrity of knowing what you can do, what's possible, and what you can't do in the moment. That's authenticity with yourself. That is the sacred way. That is what we're being encouraged to do, is coming back to right action and integrity inside ourselves. That brings the joy. That dissolves the hopelessness and the fear and allows us to evolve naturally into a state of sacred reunion. So let's just take one more breath. And the Pleiadians just want you to know that each one of you are being blessed and held in your next step of your journeys, supported and loved and honored for all that you are in this moment. So be it. Thank you, everyone.
I feel to share a song. I've spent the last week with the rivers and have experienced that light reflecting off the water a lot. And the work I do with the rivers gives me a great deal of joy, and I'd like to share that with you with this song. I am a wanderer of earth and stream. I build castles with light and dreams. I felt you calling me from afar, like a distant shimmering star. I traveled far to find your source. At the holy mountain I offered my heart. Great buffalo comes to my side, his eyes open like doorways to ride to the river. Oh, river, river, ooh. Oh, river. Now I stand at the shores of your birth, and I see how you flow across the earth, bringing life to all who gather at your banks. I overflow with the beauty and the thanks for the river. Oh, river, river, ooh. Oh, river. Spirit of river rises so grand, embraces me like an old lost friend. Star people to have come to celebrate this human who honors her fate with the river. Oh, river, river, ooh. Oh, river. All together now we bring in with might a fluid brilliance and transforming light into the river crystal kingdom assists, expanding the realms of this shift with the river. Oh, river, river, ooh. Oh, river.
So let's just open to this beautiful circle of light that we create here. Just feel your place in the circle and how your place in the circle makes the difference here. Let's just open up, take a breath, and align to your place in the circle. Ashata inea. Shehonda inea. That's it, just claiming your place here, and that we create this circle of light between us to go from this space and outwards across all humanity. So that this light, this circle of light, can touch each individual in the way it needs to in each moment. Kyoto, So be it. Amen.